Oh, a lot of wind here. V1, rotate. Look at that wind. What's going on, guys? Flyby Simulations here, and welcome back to another full flight episode on this channel. And as you guys can clearly see, we are again with the A320NX mod. I really want to have some variety on the channel, maybe get the 747 on here, the 787, but I tried to do a test flight the other day from Romeo Juliet Bravo Bravo, which is in Japan, all the way to Incheon Airport in Seoul. But it seriously just does not work with the 747. I tried to do a Korean air flight and it just wasn't good. I'm so used to flying well-developed airliners, payware products that, you know, anything except the A320NX mod or any amalgamation of this mod made being the A321 or the A330. It just doesn't work if it's another aircraft. So today we're going to be taking this JETSTAR, very orange JETSTAR 8K livery actually, which I will leave down in the description section if you guys wish to download it yourselves. And we're going to be taking this all the way from here in SYDNEY Kingsford International Airport, Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee, all the way to Yankee Bravo Charlie Golf, which is Gold Coast International Airport. The time in the sim is currently 6:46 p.m. So we're pretty close to sunset. But since we're going to be traveling, westwards, we're going to be gaining some time. So we're going to be landing at about 7:40, I believe, 7:30 or 7:40, which is pretty close to sunset down in Gold Coast. So it's going to be pretty cool. Apologies for that. And yeah, basically I've been working on a lot of different videos right now. I've been working on a particular video covering the ground textures that you guys are going to be seeing here. This is a payware product that I've bought. It's called Zinnertech Enhanced Ground Textures for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. You can pick it up from Sim Market for around 14 pounds, I believe it is, which comes to around $17 US, and it significantly enhances the ground textures on the ground. So you can see the taxiway markings, as well as the parking markings, and the runway textures, such as differentiating between asphalt runways, concrete runways, stuff like that is significantly changed and altered. So I was planning on creating a comparison video between the default textures and those. So that video is definitely in the works. Also, another video is how to make Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 look the best it can on your particular system in 2021. This will take into account everything to do with the latest update for MSFS, as well as some changes that you can tinker around with in the settings, as well as NVIDIA control panel settings and a bunch of other stuff like that. So that video is also in the works, and I've been hard at work on those. But in the meantime, I thought I might as well go out there and create a video like this for you guys, so that there's some variety on the channel and the channel is kept up to date. So the registration for this aircraft is Victor Hotel Victor Golf Foxtrot, as you guys can clearly see at the tail of this on the tail of the aircraft. The flight number for today is going to be JETSTAR 424, and as mentioned before, we're taking this all the way from Sydney to Gold Coast. So without further ado, I think I've rambled on for far too long in this introduction portion of this video. Let's go ahead and get into the flight deck and start programming the flight for departure. So there we go, beautiful flight deck. Let's go up to the overhead panel and, as usual, connect the external power. Beautiful sounds by the fly-by-wire team as usual. Let's get some lighting in here. And the ventilation is going to die down in just a second there. So let's just control the ventilation here, forward cabin, aft cabin, and cockpit. And also go ahead and turn off these displays over here. Now, I've also tried to experiment with my settings here in the simulator itself, and it's been a while since I've done that. I don't normally do that too much, but I have increased my terrain level of detail setting as well as my object level of detail setting all the way from 100 to 150. Now, I am running an RTX 2080, albeit undervolted and underclocked, as well as my i7-9700K processor running at 4.5 gigahertz, which normally runs at 4.2 gigahertz on all cores because of thermal limitations on my system. But regardless, I think the frame rates and stuff like that seem to be pretty good. Like right now, I'm getting around 38 frames per second in a pretty complex scenery. So Sydney is pretty complex if you take a look at it, and if you really dive deep. In fact, let's see. Yeah, look at that. It's a pretty complex piece of scenery, and plus this is one of the airports which you get in the premium deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's a handcrafted airport, plus you have a lot of objects and trees and stuff like that. And if I'm still maintaining 38 frames per second, I am pretty happy with that. All that said, though, in my full settings guide that I'm planning to create, I will be covering how to get the most out of your system in the best way possible. So, with that all said, I think we've done everything up on the overhead panel, haven't we? Yeah, let's just also get the crew supply on, and let's go ahead and get the IRS systems to begin aligning. And let's go ahead and start programming the MCDU, guys. We know how it goes now. We've had enough of these videos on the channel. Let's go into the init page. So we're going to be taking this from Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee all the way to Yankee Charlie Bravo Golf. Or was it Yankee Bravo Charlie Golf? I always get confused by these. Let me just take a look at this real quick. 1 second. Yankee Bravo Charlie Golf. Yeah, I would have completely gone to a different destination if I wouldn't have caught that here. That's pretty funny. All right, let's change that. There we go. Our alternate airport for today's flight is Yankee Bravo Bravo November. And our flight number, as mentioned before, is JETSTAR Juliet Sierra Tango 424. There we go. We have some lovely weather actually today, so it's going to be a pretty smooth departure, all things considered. Cost index for today's flight, according to Sim Toolkit Pro, is going to be 6, and our cruising flight level, we have a step climb, so we have a 19,000 feet step climb, and then we're heading directly to 35,000 feet. So I'm just going to enter 35,000 feet. I don't think the aircraft is capable of doing step climbs as of now. I highly doubt it. As was the case in our previous video, I have already fueled in the aircraft and everything, so we just have to line select the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight center of gravity values, and they're automatically entered in. Block fuel for today's flight, according to SimBrief, is 5.8 tons, so we're going to go ahead and enter that in as well. And that gives us a takeoff weight of 63.4 tons and a landing weight of 61.3 tons. So obviously the aircraft estimates that we're not going to be burning more than how much is it? 2.1 or sorry 2. Why am I so bad at math? Yeah, 2.1 tons of fuel. So that all looks good. Next up, let's go ahead and start entering our flight plan. So we're taking the Richmond 5 departure off of 34 left here in Sydney. The RIC 5 departure. There we go. And let's go ahead and insert that in. And from RIC, what are we doing? Let's go ahead and take a look at this information here. So from RIC, we're taking the Whiskey 214 airway. So Whiskey 214 airway. And we are taking that all the way to Macor. So Mike Alpha Kilo Oscar Romeo. And from there, we're taking the Whiskey 347 airway. A lot of whiskeys in here. And we're taking that to Matla. So Mike Alpha Tango Lima Alpha. There we go. I think they've also updated the sounds when you click the different buttons on the MCDU, which is a nice little touch. I like it. It actually increases the immersion as well. Then we're taking the Yankee 43 airway and taking that to Burnie. So Bravo Echo Romeo November India. And from there, we're taking the Burnie 1 Victor arrival into runway 14 at Yankee Bravo Charlie Golf. So let's go ahead and insert all of this information. As is the case, you can always copy down this entire route if you guys wish to fly the same exact route that I am flying. It's pretty self-explanatory. So from here, we're taking the ILS 14. Sure, let's go for the ILS 14 Zulu arrival. And the Burnie 1 Victor arrival can also be selected. Vias and stuff we don't really have to enter at the moment. There we go. And that, the IRS systems have already finished aligning here, so that's all good to go in that respect. What else do we have here? So on the overhead panel, we can also go ahead and now start the APU. Let's wait for the flap to open here. Have we turned on the no smoking signs? Yes, we have. There we go. Let's brighten up this display and let's wait for the flap to open. And once the flap opens, we can start entering the performance data into the MCDU. So we're not wasting any more time than is absolutely necessary. There we go. Flap is open. APU can be started. There we go. We hear it starting up. And well, let's go ahead and enter the performance data into the MCDU. So V1, VR, and V2 values can all get line selected here. So V1 is going to be 130, VR is going to be 131, and V2 is going to be 135. Transition altitude actually is pretty spot on, so it's the default value itself. I'm pretty sure it's 10,000 feet. Again, I'll include a little picture of the chart here on screen so that you guys can reprimand me in the comment section if I'm getting that value wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 10,000 feet. Flap setting, we're going to be going for flap 2, Delta November 0.0 as usual, so no trim. And the flex temperature, it's a pretty long runway here, so we can go for a flex temperature of maybe 75, maybe 70 degrees. There we go. And there's the performance data all entered in, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, now we're just waiting for the APU to start up. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start configuring the FCU over here. So we have our initial climb here. Dictates that we're supposed to be, what's the altitude? At 1,500 feet, track, blah, blah, blah. I think we can just go ahead and enter 10,000 feet here as well, because there's no specified altitude, and the transition altitude is obviously 10,000 feet. So let's go ahead and enter that in. The local QNH, this we can definitely find. So according to the weather data, the local QNH at the moment is 1018. So let's enter that in on our standby display here as well. There we go. Flight director on my side, flight director on the other side. Constraint on my side, airport on my side, on their side. What am I doing today? I'm just very confused. So constraint, airport, and auto throttle can be left off until the APU comes on here. So we're good to go in that aspect. I think the APU is available. There we go. Let's get the APU bleed up and running as well, and let's disconnect the external power. We no longer need it. Strobe light can come to auto, and we are pretty much ready for engine start and pushback. So the current time is 6:55 p.m. So it's actually the most opportune time for the pushback. So let's go ahead and call the pushback truck here. So I'm going to open up my trusty little pushback plugin tool, and we're going to go ahead and disconnect the jetway here momentarily. Here we go. So let's get rid of the jetway. You have done us well. We have now supplied all the people into the aircraft. Everybody is done boarding. Everybody's now ready for the passenger announcements and stuff like that. So, all right, the jetway is leaving the vicinity, and let's go ahead and also connect the pushback tug. As that does its thing, we can also go ahead and get ready for pushback. So let's go ahead and get the beacon light up and running. If I can click it, there we go. Seatbelt sign can come on. And we can also get all the fuel pumps up and running there, as is evident. Alright, so ready for pushback. Let's also go ahead and brighten this display. Yep, there's that little push. Let's go ahead and lock the flight deck door, release the parking brake, and start engine number 2 on the push as usual. Now, just to make sure what direction we're supposed to be pushing back in, 3-4 left is going to be a pretty long taxi. We're doing a tail left, nose right pushback. So, let's take a look here. There we go. Yeah, the runway markings as well as the sort of dirty textures on the ground look really good. Obviously, my full review will cover exactly the pros and cons of this texture pack and stuff like that. But yeah, it significantly ungamifies the sim, and the textures on the ground really start looking like it's a simulator with cracks on the ground and, you know, skid marks on the runways and stuff like that. So that's definitely a plus, and I really like the product so far. There we go. Let's go ahead and push back a little straight and continue that leftward pushback now. Trying to get that straight in taxi. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let's continue straight here. And actually, that's good enough. So let's go ahead and stop the pushback there. And I think we have engine number 2 available. There we go, we do. So let's go ahead and start engine number 1 and set the parking brake here as well. There we go. What else can we do? Let's go ahead and start the activate the auto throttle mode as well. We no longer need it. And let's go ahead and listen to engine number 1 firing up. Ooh, look at that rumble. Yeah, that sounded brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's still firing up. I'm actually just going to go ahead and do this real quick thing on my task manager here, so excuse me for that. Uno segundo. Oh, yeah, I have it set to the normal mode anyway. There we go. Okay. So everything is good to go. Engine number 1 is also now available. Let's go ahead and set the ignition back to normal. Let's go ahead and select flap 2, arm the spoilers, and do a quick little flight control check. So flight control surfaces all full up, full down, that's good, full left, full right, that's good, and rudder all the way left, very twitchy. I think that's to do with my own peripheral devices. There we go. We're getting full left now and full right. Full left, full right. Let's try that one more time. There we go. It's getting better with every push. All right, flight control check completed. Let's switch that back to the engine page. Let's go ahead and squawk 2000. Set the TCAS system to on, and we'll switch it to TARA when we're getting closer to the runway. Predicted wind shear can come to auto, and let's get the taxi light on here as well. And let's get rid of the APU. No longer need that. And there we go. We're pretty much ready for taxi to the runway. So the taxi procedure should be relatively simple. Again, I'll include a little picture of the chart as to where we are and where we're supposed to be heading to. So let me just take a screenshot of that. There we go. So yeah, we're supposed to be going straight on Charlie. And then after Charlie, switch to Golf and then cross on Charlie, or maybe go to Bravo and cross on that. And then basically travel parallel to the runway all the way to the end. Or we can take, yeah, actually, a better plan is to just go cross runway 16 right, and then take a left on Alpha, and then go all the way down on Alpha to maybe Alpha 5 or Alpha 6, where you can go ahead and intercept runway 34 left. So yeah, I think I know what I'm doing here. So let me just go ahead and release the parking brake, and let's get ready for a departure, ladies and gentlemen. So let's give it a little bit of thrust here, and we have started to move. What's the frame rate I'm getting here? Again, 37 to 38 frames per second. I don't mind losing those 2 or 3 frames per second if I'm getting better visuals overall. So it looks good. It looks pretty good. There we go. The beacon light is beaming off of that wingtip there. And yeah, we're taking a right here and then tracking all the way down. That's the plan. Actually, we can continue going straight here. There's a little slope here, I think. Yeah, there's a bit of a slope here, and then we can take a right here. Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah, we can cross on Golf and then take a left on Alpha. It's pretty simple. Alright, we're going pretty fast now that there's that slope, so let's just artificially brake our aircraft here. Not brake, more like the action of braking. Using friction to control your speed is what I meant. Here we go. And we're going to be crossing a runway here. Yeah, the ground textures definitely look much better. You can even see the sunlight beaming off of it and stuff like that. It just looks like spectacularly better. Okay, we can go ahead and get the strobe light to on. And we can also get the runway turn off and the nose light to taxi. Just so people know that we're crossing the runway here. We can also do a little check. So nobody on the left, no traffic on the right either. So we are all good to go. And are we taking the first left here? I think we are. Yeah, we're taking the first left here. So let's slow ourselves down. And get ready for that left turn. Here we go. Let's get rid of the FPS monitor as well. Kills the immersion. Here we go. Alright, now we're basically going all the way straight. After we cross this runway here, which is runway 0725. There's quite a few runways on this airport actually. There's runway 16 right, there's runway 07, there's runway 16 left, and obviously they're opposite counterparts as well. There's that runway. Not a lot of clouds in the sky today either. So should be a pretty windy departure as from basic common sense. Let's go ahead and turn off the runway turn-off lights and put the taxi light back to that and switch the strobe light to auto. We'll switch it back to on when we get on the runway. In the meantime, let's also go ahead and do set auto brake to max, and let's get the cabin check done. Before that, we'll go ahead and do the takeoff config test. Takeoff is normal, and let's get the cabin crew and passengers to sit their buttocks down. Cabin crew seats for takeoff. And what was that car doing? I think it just went down that ditch on the right. Yeah, there we go. A lot of cars are going down this. Oh, no, wait. Oh, this is an expressway or something like that, where cars can float. Fantastic. Okay. That's some realism right there, if I've ever seen it. Alright, we're tanking down this taxiway at 28 knots. We're going to have to control our speed here. But the water and stuff looks fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Let's take a screenshot of that real quick. Look at that. Oh yeah, we're deviating away from the taxiway here. Not good. Let's get back on the taxiway. Do we want to do a full-length departure, or do we want to vacate on Alpha 5? I think we're going to do a full-length departure. Actually, you know what? Alpha 5 is good enough, to be honest. Yeah, that's going to give us plenty of runway. So let's take the next left here, which is right here. We don't have to go all the way to the end. No need. We're going very fast, so let's slow ourselves down here as well. Not that we have any traffic on the ground or anything like that, but yeah, we are still going pretty fast here. Here we go. Coming up on this left turn. Let's also go ahead and get all the lights up and running here. So takeoff light can come on, strobe can come on, wing can come on. And let's get the runway lights up and running as well. And slow ourselves down. Here we go. Under 15 knots. We can get the weather radar on as well here. And let's switch TCAS to TARA. Here we go. Oh, my left rudder stopped working there. That's alright. I think we're skipping about 500, maybe 300 to 400 meters of the runway by doing a short length departure. But that's alright. I think we have enough juice in us to be able to get out. We're not fully loaded or anything, so it's good. Alright, let's do a standing takeoff as usual. So get us to come to a full stop. Here we go. Parking brake set. And just to do a little quick check of everything. So range is set to 20 nautical miles. We climb out, take a left turn immediately to Richmond. And yep, the runway. We forgot to turn off the landing. Turn on the landing light here. And yeah, everything else seems to be good to go. So let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And we are ready for departure, ladies and gentlemen. Thrust to 50%. Symmetric thrust established. Let's go all the way. Man flex, 70 degrees, SRS, runway, and auto thrust is blue. A little bit of forward pressure on the yoke. There we go. Airspeed is alive, 70 knots, 80 knots. Continuing to move forward. 100 knots. Coming up on V1. Oh, a lot of wind here. V1, rotate. Look at that wind. There we go. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. I'm going to go straight on the flight directors here. Right on the 15-degree mark. We'll continue climbing. We're not going to take flap 1 in just yet. We'll get to about 1,000 feet and then we'll take flap 1 in. Just to make sure that we don't have any gusts or anything here. There we go. 1,000 feet. Flap 1. Following the flight directors here as best as I can. There you go, lever climb. And let's go ahead and start pitching the aircraft down. What do we see out of the window? Look at that, beautiful Sydney out the window. Oh, we'll wait till we can take all the flaps in before we engage autopilot and start looking at the scenery here. We have that beautiful left turn coming up here as well. There we go. And speed check, flap 2, and the left turn here comes immediately after that. So best moment to go ahead and turn on autopilot. There we go. Autopilot is taking control of the lateral and vertical components of the aircraft. The EGT seems to be very high at the moment, which is rather concerning, but nothing we can do about it now. Hopefully that doesn't damage the engines or anything. Let's take a look at what Sydney looks like. Look at that beautiful departure right there, ladies and gentlemen. That looks fantastic. That looks absolutely splendid. Climbing up above the clouds here. Wow. Yeah, maintaining 250 knots. Let's go ahead and I think we have some good screenshot opportunities here. Look at that. The beautiful city of Sydney in the background over there. Beautiful. All right. So as usual, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be cutting this episode off at as soon as we reach 10,000 feet, which, as you guys can see, we are reaching relatively fast here. So we're already at 7,500 feet. The approach, descent, landing, and arrival into Yankee Bravo Charlie Golf or Gold Coast International Airport can be watched in the next episode of this full flight. So I'll be uploading that maybe after 4 or 5 hours after this episode has been uploaded. So it should be coming relatively shortly after that. But yeah, we're leveling out relatively early here, maybe trying to get to that 10,000 feet mark. But yeah, what else is left to do here? We can go ahead and get the nose light off, the runway turnoff light can come off, wing light can come off, and we can also go ahead and disarm these spoilers. And let's also go ahead and set a higher altitude on our altitude display, 350. Let's go ahead and get open climb there. And since we're also relatively close to our transition altitude, let's switch to standard barometric pressure here as well. So 29.92 inches of mercury is set. Standard pressure has been set, 10,000 feet. There we go. Let's get rid of the landing lights there as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed that beautiful, beautiful departure out of Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee, SYDNEY Kingsford International Airport. As mentioned before, if you guys wish to watch the arrival into Gold Coast, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and press that bell icon so you guys get notified when I upload other videos. If you guys enjoyed this specific video, make sure to give it a like rating, as that greatly helps me out to put this content out to other flight simmers such as yourself. So, thanks for watching, and thanks for flying by.